Welcome back to Clydesdale Media, where we bring you the best from the world of CrossFit. Podcasts, news, special interest, health, fitness. If you like what you hear, hit that subscribe button, hit the notifier so you're the first to know when we have new episodes. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
What's going on, everyone?
You talk.
Hey, we are live on the Clydesdale Media weight loss journey. My name is Scott Switch. I'm the Clydesdale, and I'm on the road. She is Cheryl Nasso. She is my nutrition coach. What's going on?
Man, I'm giving you some tough love. I'm like, I told Scott, I'm like, listen, if you can't do this today, I'm going to show up live and do it myself because I feel like we need to keep ourselves consistent. We missed last week, so I wasn't going to miss another week. Our last one was after Wadapalooza. So here's what you're going to start with is every single week, all of my clients have a check-in form. And I want everybody to know that this is not a checking of boxes type of a thing. So I am very aware that sometimes my clients don't fill it out, and I am fine with that. However, communication is at the core of what I believe in. And I also know that me and Scott have been communicating a little bit throughout the week, so I was letting him slide on that. But I still would have loved to have a little bit more communication from him. And I'm giving him that because that's how I'm going to give him the most coaching. So now we are getting the full-on raw interview right now with Scott because I know he's had a very tough and trying week. And I know that the last thing that he wanted to think about is his freaking diet. But I think he probably did pretty well. But I want to hear from him a little bit about how your week was, how your week has went.
So we'll start with the check-in form.
Yep.
So I set phone alarm to go off every Wednesday at 10 a.m. to fill out my check-in form.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday at 10 a.m., I was having surgery.
Got it.
When the alarm went off. So I was not in a place where I could fill out the form, and I couldn't even, usually what happens if I'm busy in that moment, I just keep snoozing it until I fill it out.
Got it.
But couldn't do that in the doctor's office. And then when I was done with surgery, of course, that was not the first thing on my mind. It was just kind of survival because it was very painful and trying to get through those first few hours. My doctor told me I could go right back to work, and I didn't even do that. I went home, tried to sleep, and just took the rest of the day off.
Good. You needed that. And like I said, it's not about the check-in form for me. It's I always worry that when I don't have communication that a person is having a rough time. As a coach, it's kind of like being a worried mom. Like my kid didn't check in with me at, 6:00. How is everything going? Okay. And it's mostly knowing your history and knowing you for as long as I have that I worry that whenever bumps come in the road, everything kind of goes bumpy with it. And I didn't want that to happen. So I always want to make sure of that. And then obviously knowing that you had this thing coming up this weekend that I had no idea about, kind of want to see how all that has transpired. So first of all, how are you recovering from your surgery?
So it got better like each day. Then Thursday night was rough. I got to Pennsylvania, stayed with my mom. I only got about 2 to 3 hours of sleep that night, and then got up in the morning and we drove to Delaware.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where, I had Kleenexes in the. So, for people who don't know, the surgery I had, they put balloons in there to expand, to push my sinus wall back from being closed, and then shot antibiotics into the nasal cavity to get the disease gone, because there's disease in there. So what the first few days were just constant runny nose, and like uncontrollably runny nose. And so the trips were with Kleenexes holding my nose, trying to get through all that. And then Friday night in Delaware, we got here, we got settled, we tried some things out, got to the hotel, could not sleep at all. Got my watch said 3 hours, I still have sleep that night. So then got up Saturday, worked the event, did live streaming for the first time in my career, an event, a CrossFit event. Um, and we did that because there have been some offers put out there to maybe be media partners for people in the future. And so we wanted to see what we were capable of with an event that Kat was running.
That's awesome.
And so we live streamed 6 of the 7 events in the RX division, and I made it through pretty well. We went to dinner Saturday night, ate something I was allergic to. My bottom lip swelled bigger than Angelina Jolie, and I looked like Hitch, if you've ever seen that movie. We went to Walgreens, grabbed some Benadryl. I threw some of that back. Fell asleep at 7:30 last night. Woke up 7:30 this morning.
Sounds like you got a good night's sleep. Much needed.
Yeah, I just need to take some Benadryl.
Yeah, Benadryl. They do say so. Some people get awakened from Benadryl. Others, it's like a sleep. It's like a sedative. So that's awesome. I mean, you had a rough week. I had a rough week the week before. You had a rough week this week, and I luckily I only had really one really rough night of sleep, and then from there the 7:30 to 7:30, that was me the day after my surgery. I was like in bed by 7:30, and I fell asleep by 8, and I didn't wake up till almost 8 o'clock in the morning. I was zonked out, and so I get it. So you've had a pretty long, stressful week. A good stress, a partly hard stress, but also fun stress because obviously the competition was likely fun. How did you do nutritionally this weekend?
So ever since we last talked, I've been really upping my protein.
Okay.
Really making a concerted effort to do that, which I think I was doing a great job of. I will say surgery day did not happen. Every food sounded so gross to me and made me nauseous the day of the surgery. All I could eat was pasta.
Well, and the truth is, yeah, so your sinuses, your smell also affects your taste. So I could see that being a thing, you know?
Yeah, and then Thursday, everything was back to normal with my stomach. So back to regular eating. And then we did, traveling. It is what it is. You do the best you can with what you have. We did pack a bunch of stuff, some smart snacks, some waters, things like that. Because our room did have a kitchenette and a big refrigerator, we had that stuff there, easily accessible.
Okay. So I know that there's been a lot of people bitching about MyFitnessPal glitches. And I'm just going to ask, is that why you don't have food tracked, or is it because you just weren't tracking?
I was not tracking this week. And
okay.
Now I did have the glitches like Sunday and Monday.
Yeah.
And I went back and I did fill it all in.
Yeah.
But the from the surgery on, I did not.
Yeah. Last time I saw you tracking there was Monday. I have nothing from Tuesday through now. So here's the deal and the reason I'm saying this is it's not about the tracking. It's not about the tracking because there's a gazillion ways to skin a cat. And I hate saying that because that's like such the stupidest term. It's about the consistency that I'm noticing. It's becoming more consistent for you to veer off from your goal plan. Whereas like 3 months ago, like going to the Masters Collective and all that, like you were like, oh no, I'm doing this, like boom. And so I just want to make sure that, as I mentioned to you before last summer, that we kind of keep ourselves in a place of like taking an actual break versus like not taking the break, but the breaks just kind of keep on happening. Meaning, hey, maybe you needed a break from tracking like December 1st for like a month and just committing to that for a month and not stressing about it. Whereas now we're kind of running into this. If I look back at your compliance in that area, this past month has been very spotty. Let me just kind of show you, because the reason I'm showing you this and the listeners is that you've got a goal. And in order for me to help you get to that goal, I've got to be serious about where we have to work harder at. And it's not about you not working hard because you're busting your ass. But if you look back, can you guys see the screen now? Yes, you can. Okay. Your consistency In October, look at that. 30 days, all tracked, completely tracked. September, 100%. August was our first start. So that's about 12 weeks. Okay, that's usually when people need to break. It's about that 12 to 16 week mark. Going into Thanksgiving, you had a couple weeks off, totally fine. We need that sometimes. But then it became Christmas month. And we see from the 15th through the end of the year, pretty much nothing. You still were maintaining some good progress, but that should have been maybe the way where that's where we probably should have said, hey, let's just focus on staying with where we're at and not stressing about, tracking so much. Because now my goal in January was like, all right, we're back. Hoorah. We're getting some momentum going again. And here we are again with a pretty spotty tracking month. We've got one full week and then 7 days or so. And I am totally all on board with making sure that you are mentally in a good spot, because I don't want you to be forcing yourself, but I also have to keep your goal in mind. So how are you feeling about that? Me reflecting on all that right now. Did I lose you? Can you hear me, Scott? I can't tell if he's frozen. He's got to be frozen. Let's give it a second here. This is funny. Scott on the road, can you hear me? I lost him. Let's see. Stand by, people. I lost my Scott. Let's see if he comes back. So what I was basically reflecting on, guys. Oh, there he is. Yay!
All right. If you click back over to Bluetooth, so I'm trying to get that off. I don't know why that happened. Hold on. Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, sorry about that.
That's okay. I'm not sure what exactly you heard from me.
I didn't hear anything when you flipped over to share screen.
Okay. So what I was reflecting on is
I just couldn't hear you.
You what?
I could see it. I just couldn't hear you.
Okay. So what I was showing was that I think you needed a break from tracking back in December. And the reason I'm saying that is that you were really compliant for about 16 weeks, 12 to 16 weeks. You were really compliant with that. And then you kind of started to fizzle off a little bit. And I think now my goal is that I want to get you back to 100% because I know you have a goal. And it's not about the tracking. It's about that it's becoming easier for you to navigate away from that. And I want to see you reach your goal this year. So what can we do to kind of get you back into that dialed in spot? Where you were like, man, I'm away at the Masters Collective, but I'm still doing my work. What can we do to kind of get you back there?
I think it's just up to me. It's up to prioritize it starting now.
Let me ask you this. Okay, here's a great question to ask yourself. Okay, if you saw somebody like, I am on the journey to lose 100 pounds, and you knew that and you're telling him, here's the plan. Okay, you're gonna track your food, and he's falling off track. What's making you not track it? And it's the same thing I told you last week. Well, I get busy throughout the day and I get sidetracked. Okay, what would you tell that person to do?
So I think for me is once I'm out of the habit, it becomes easier and easier. And I've been out of the habit, and so now the minute I fall off, it just becomes easier to stay there. I need to prioritize it and get back to where it's just part A.
Yep. And the number one reason is it's not about the tracking. It's that becomes how I can troubleshoot when things aren't moving in the right direction. And it's the accountability for yourself. But I think that, like I said, if you coach yourself outside of yourself, it's easier. What would you tell somebody like, hey, man, you're on this journey, and the only thing that you have to do is track your food? Like, what would make that easier for you? I think that for you, like you said, getting out of the habit is the thing, but that's everybody. But I think the reason why is that because when your life is consistent and you have time, it's easy for that habit to be a part of it. But whenever it's knocked out of your consistency, that's when you lose the habit. So I think personally that you should be trying to track a little bit earlier on in the day. Maybe not everything, but maybe being like, all right, I know I'm going to have the same breakfast and lunch, and I'm going to have these 2 snacks. And at least now all you're having to plug in is dinner and maybe whatever filler food you have to fill in. That's my suggestion for you. What do you think about that?
Okay.
Try it?
Try it.
All right. What do you have coming up this week?
Nothing.
Good.
Well, I'm with my mom's tonight. I'm working from her house Monday and Tuesday. Driving home Tuesday night.
Okay.
And then I'll be home, and then nothing from that. Masters quarterfinals.
I also know that your mom is going through some stuff too, and I'm not going to disclose that. I'll let you. So I want you to take care of your mom. But the most important thing right now for you is getting back into the habit and being consistent, not worrying about perfection. That means I don't care if you don't have your food scale with you and you're eyeballing things. I don't care if it's not perfect macros. It's just getting back into the habit of doing that so that we can kind of get back to consistency, because you've got a goal. And no matter what happens and anywhere else, we're going to try and make that goal happen this year for you. All right. It's February 5th. All right. So do you have any idea? Is your weight still pretty much the same as last weight I have for you is on the 22nd?
Yeah, I haven't been on a scale in a week. So yeah, it's probably right around the same.
Okay.
Now, when I go to these events and have some putting in, usually I get a little bit of drop off.
Yep.
So maybe when I get home on the scale, it will down.
Yeah. And I know your mom eats very healthy too, so I'm sure you're going to be in good company here. Yeah. Your phone is going a little bit in and out, so I can't tell sometimes if you're done talking or not. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off. But what I was saying is I know your mom eats very good, so I know you're in good company. So plan is you get home Thursday, you weigh in, boom, check-in form still gets filled in on Wednesday, and we rock it. And we do another podcast interview again next week, and we figure out where things are at. So that's the main thing, is I want to keep you consistent. All right. So our listeners need to hear you doing your work. They need to see you showing up for yourself, because that's what we tell everybody else. Okay. You got to show up for yourself. You got to show up for yourself this week. All right. Do the work for you this week. And however I can help with that, I'm here for. If it's keeping you accountable every single day, I'll text you every single day. And you know that. So, but what else do you need from me today?
That's it. Just looking forward to getting it up.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to this year, dude. So let's really crush it. All right. So I don't see any comments. I'm looking. I don't see any, so we're good. I see 5 people watching, but they're not commenting. So our normal people aren't on tonight, which is really surprising. Our Bruce and our others. But if you need anything, I'm going to go ahead and get us off of live stream. And we'll look forward to seeing what's going on this week towards the end of the week. So, Jack, are you coming to say hello? All right, I'm gonna turn us off of live. Bye, guys.
Bye.